All right, so welcome and thanks for joining me in this video. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at NVIDIA stock predictions and where will it go next. So that is the big question. That's what a lot of people wonder. If you're on the bearish side, you're probably wondering, oh crap, man, this thing's going too high. If you're on the bullish side, you're like, oh, heck yeah, how high can it go? I wish it just goes up forever, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to check out NVIDIA. I'm going to chat a little bit about the charts, the momentum on it, just because it's a stock that's kind of popular to discuss and I'm talking about it. So anyways, if we look at just overall what's going on with this space right now, NVIDIA is up $1.63, not that much compared to some of the other companies like Apple, even Microsoft are pushing higher. And that's just because the stock's already had a pretty big run. AMD's pulling back a little bit, but the market has been doing pretty well in general today. So it's been pushing really high. So if we look at a ton of these companies, you can see there's Meta, Google, Intel, Apple, CRM, Adobe, PayPal, and many others. So anyway, in NVIDIA, there's a lot of news there going on with NVIDIA. If we go ahead and check out just the NVIDIA column here, basically how much would NVIDIA be worth today? Stock spikes, explodes after guidance. There are some people that are dumping the shares, and that is typical, right? When a stock powers higher so quickly, it's normal for big insiders to dump the shares. Now, remember, when you see big numbers that they're dumping the shares down below, or even on some of these news reports over here, it's really, they probably still have a lot of NVIDIA stock. It's just that they might be unloading 20%, 50% of their holdings and something to that effect. So don't think that just because somebody's selling that they're still now short or don't like the stock. It just means, hey, I'll take some profits. So if you had, let's say, $1,000, now it's $10,000. Hey, you know what? Put some in your pocket and then move on, right? So anyway, as we look to kind of NVIDIA, we go into the chart here. I'm going to go ahead and go over a couple of things in here, but why don't you go ahead and give me your insight and idea? What are your thoughts on NVIDIA? Is it overhyped or still a buy for the long term? So if we're looking at kind of the chart here, and you can see this chart's, it's pushing higher quite a bit. We did get a little pullback almost to the 100. Now it's at 400. So if you were buying up down here at those levels and now you're way up here. So you're kind of laughing to some degree. I wasn't that smart to make that decision, but we've been playing it to the upside here and there. So anyway, as we look into this stock right now, one of the key things to watch as you're always looking into these companies is to watch kind of the volume. Now, the volume is critical. And if you're watching the volume, you can see volume has picked up after earnings right here. And volume is also picking up again after that big pop. So oftentimes the gaps do get filled. In this case, will it get filled? Maybe, maybe not. I'd say the further it keeps going, the less likely it's to get filled. It's kind of the same thing that happened back here. As you'll see, if the gap continues or the stock price continues, it runs away. That gap is less likely to get filled because now buyers are all over the place to fill in other areas of support, and it creates other areas of support and resistance. So if we continue to keep holding this for the next month or two, it may less likely to get filled, and that means that stock could continue moving and pushing into higher prices. So that's something to kind of watch out for and pay attention to. The one thing I will note is that people do get a little bit euphoric on companies like this. And when you go ahead and see that, hey, this stock is amazing, this stock's got AI going on, it can continue to push that. It's like, I want to buy more. I want to keep getting into it. Now, from the long perspective, that's also not good because sometimes people get too euphoric, and just like back here, you get euphoria and then it just starts tanking and then it pulls back and then you get into panic mode. So be careful. Yeah, it's doing well now, but be logical, reasonable, and yeah, it could pull back quite quickly because the stock is pumped a bit to the upside. I've seen it with things like CRM right here. It gets pumped up and then it gets pulled back. I mean, you look at Meta. It was up here, boom, and tanked, and now it's coming back a bit. So many companies, they do this type of movements. It's just right now, at this moment, the stock is pushing higher prices. And when you really look at it and think about it, it is a little more like cryptocurrency, because AI discussions are as emotional as cryptocurrencies were years ago. So this is also pushing those things into higher prices. So for the time being, we are pushing higher. But there's so much discussion about AI that maybe once those things settle down and the dust settles, things might pull back or at least stabilize and move sideways. So my point being here is, for the time being, the stock is powerful. Looking at also ABCD patterns, you've got an A to B, B to C, and possible C to D, which means much further higher prices. You've got volume coming in, so this is also good news, which could mean that it is a massive buying opportunity still. But if you hold on to it too long, or the stock does get stretched, be careful, because there could be some sad times ahead for a pullback. So don't over leverage yourself. If you've got, let's say, $100,000, don't put $99,000 of it into one spot. Spread your money, spread your capital, and manage your risk accordingly. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to post a comment like some of these folks here. Let me know what you think about AI stocks in general, NVIDIA and whatnot, and we can check it out. And then feel free to check out some of the other good things and freebies I have on the website, or check out our Traders Fly YouTube channel as well. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.